All right, welcome to In the Spotlight. This is Isaac Coleman here from Powered by Rock, talking with Eric Howk from Portugal, man. Eric, are you ready to be in the spotlight?
I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
So, as I mentioned in our original podcast talk, you guys did win the Powered by Rock Song of the Year for 2020 with Who's Gonna Stop Me? But I would like to ask you, what do you think is the Song of the Year for 2021 so far?
Oh, holy smoke.
I'm going to start out swinging with this one.
Start out hot. I mean, WAP. I mean, if we're talking rock and roll, it's tough to say, but I think that
WAP. Well, you could pick in rock or anything, but what do you think is the 2021 Song of the Year so far?
I'm kind of giving it to WAP. I just love how bothered it made people. I love how under so many people's skin, and just like how it became this like partisan divisive issue, and like, you know, terrorizing the youth of America, and like it's just I love that, man. I think it's super fun. So
well, there you go. I mean, it's kind of punk rock in its own way, even though it's not rock.
It's kind of more rock than a lot of rock.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so second question: which member of the band is most likely to win a pub trivia battle if y'all had to play against each other?
Wow. Well, that's tough because like Zach kind of remembers everything. I don't know if he knows everything, but he remembers everything. So if it's like based on recall, I'm giving it to him. I know a lot of dumb shit. I know a lot of wildly impractical knowledge. So I'd be a tough contender, but Jason Seacrest, our drummer, is super nuanced. If it's got anything to do with cinema, especially, like, he knows more about 80s and 90s obscure horror stuff than anybody I know. Like, we all have like wildly specialized knowledge. If it's
so
about,
you'd be a great team, but you'd be suffering on your own.
We're a Voltron of highly useless information, man. Like if it's about like Russian composers and pianists, Kyle O'Quinn's gonna mop the floor with everybody. You know, like if it's about like ATVs and snow machines from the '90s, John Gorley's got it. We need everybody on board, man. We're helpless alone, but we're strong together.
United, you stand together, you fall apart.
Exactly.
All right. So this actually came from one of our fans who had posted this in a Instagram story that I said, what would you ask Eric Howk if you could? And she, I think it was a female, said, if you could live in any video game or movie, which one would you pick?
Any video game or movie? Because that's
so I guess that universe of whatever they're created there. What would you pick?
So that means I could live in like the video game universe from Free Guy and kind of hit both of them.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
You wouldn't want to live in the normal version of the Free Guy. That's the boring part. You want to be in the game of that.
I mean, I sometimes, don't we all feel like NPCs? I don't know, man. I feel like Vice City's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind living in Vice City. It depends. Like, do I get to kind of choose my own experience in here? Because like, I wouldn't mind being sort of, involved in the crime syndicate of Vice City. That sounds good.
Slapping around some prostitutes and stealing some taxis and driving them into the cliffs and stuff.
But at the same time, like, I also wouldn't mind living on the island from Joe versus the Volcano. Like, I don't know. Anywhere, man.
That's a very obscure one, because obviously that movie with Tom Hanks is super old. Not a lot of people are, younger than us would even know that movie exists, because Tom Hanks is much more known for everything past that, but that's an interesting choice.
The Wapami Wu are a proud people. They love orange soda. Their tribal leader is Abe Vigoda, for the love of God.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. Do you want to marry him? Do you want to marry her? Okay, you're married. Like it just seems like a very quick, practical culture. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I'd live on the volcano island of Joe versus the Volcano.
That's very cool. All right, this one's a little bit more realistic and sensible, but what was there a specific musician or person who inspired you to pick up your first instrument?
Damn. My mama named me after Eric Clapton, so it was kind of a preordained thing, like, hey, you're gonna play guitar. And my dad was a great drummer, Hammond keyboard player, God rest his soul. But he introduced me to a lot of weird stuff, and I don't want to give it to Clapton, so I'm gonna just say, like, I remember the first time I saw Jimi Hendrix play a guitar, and like my whole world went from black and white to color. So, I mean, how do you top that?
That's awesome. Very cool. So, parents, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, basically the same.
All right. If you could change one thing about the way the world is right now, what would it be and why?
Man, I'd make everyone's ears like 50% bigger. We got real shitty at listening at some point.
Mouths smaller, ears bigger.
Yeah, just like kind of turn like rodent everybody a little bit, like this and then this.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, you know, I'm as guilty as anybody about it, but like we all, you know, everybody's got a story. And not everybody is super great at telling their story, but like everybody's story deserves consideration and to be judged based on its own merits. And I just feel like we're, you know, by nature kind of, you know, self-involved, and a lot of us, you know, extend that maybe as far out as our social media bubbles. But like, man, just open up your ears, listen to people. That's all I would do.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a great message. I mean, I think it's everybody's first thought in their head is, how does this help me? Or why am I listening to this? It's like, why do I care? It's like, why do you care? Because this person's actually saying something that is important to them. That's why you should care.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any other reason. Like, just listen, see what they have to say.
Yeah. Give it a try.
Yeah. Very cool. It's been an absolute honor, Eric. I want to thank you so much for being on here. You know, stepping in the spotlight and answering these hot seat questions isn't easy, but you did it probably as fast as anybody. So good job.
You know, I'm nothing if not efficient, but thanks, Isaac. Thanks for being gentle to me. And, appreciate it, man.
All right, cool. Guys, make sure to go to the show notes below this episode for the links to the music and watch our full podcast as well. We'll see you soon, and shine on.
Yeah.